Blood for the blood gods, calls for the throne of corn. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Once again, it is time for a glute and hamstring day. We started off with conventional deadlifts, and I am flat out not recovered from the pull last week. So I did the 405 and it felt really, really light. I'm like, yeah, let me just grab 585. That felt less than 405. So I put 585 on the bar, came over, went to pull it, couldn't lock it. So, which is actually relatively surprising because I did 4 reps with 550 last week. The thing I want to note, possibly recovery from that pull last week. Number 2, I felt it all in my lats near the lockout. And really, if you watch what happened here, I got it up to the knee. I couldn't follow through with the glutes. I couldn't get my hips to the bar. So again, it made me feel the lats, and I realized, okay, we've got to strengthen up that whole glute area, the rest of the back, mid-back, all that. Let's hammer down on it, okay? And it's an issue of, yes, I do feel like there was a recovery because I did do a new type of squat. I haven't done high bar squat, so there's definitely a little back fatigue from that. Definitely had some DOMs, but I had plenty of speed off the floor. So that ability to not lock it shows that maybe my glutes and my back weren't fully recovered, but that also means they weren't strong enough. Because what we have to remember when it comes to something like that, because I pulled 585 pretty easy not long ago on camera. So I really thought that was just going to come in and just shoot right up based on last week. But I definitely noticed that fatigue. So here's the thing. If you're strong enough, it doesn't matter if you're fatigued. That should have been close, slightly submaximal. I still should have been able to get it. I just simply wasn't strong enough. So what we do with something like that, definitely an off day. But those are unacceptable. Like, we shouldn't really have many of those. So what I'm going to do, come through and do the exercises I know will build that up. I already said previously, I know I need to work these good mornings back in. I need to do it. I know they will carry over to my squatting and deadlifting. I need to get really strong again, even though I'm working on aesthetics as a primary. Certain things I do need to do, and the good mornings will help. So I went ahead and ramped these up. A couple of these triples were done with 355, then I went up to 375, and that felt pretty close to a 3-rep max. But I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and build that ability to follow through. Because if you watch what happens there and look at what happens with that pattern with the hip to bar, the inability to do it, good mornings will build that up. And again, I'm going to need that, especially if I'm going to be squatting up in the 500s. This is a weak link. Like, if we're missing a 585 deadlift with the inability to get the hips to the bar, is that same thing going to display when I'm trying to get up to the 550 squat again? Yeah, it's absolutely going to come out. So we need to start addressing it. So that means let's get in, let's work the good mornings, let's work all these other hinges. Let's build everything up. And I did some hamstrings today, but my hamstrings did not feel like they were a limit in any way. Like, they were not it at all. It was the inability to follow through with the glutes. My glutes did not have the power to follow through with that lockout. As again, gets to the knee, and I could not bring the hips to the bar, which conversely made me feel nothing but lats. So people are like, well, where did you feel it? Nothing but my middle back. Like, I felt nothing anywhere else on that lift, but then I felt that area really struggling. So we do need to work on that. We also need to, again, do a little grip work. So I decided, let's work good mornings. I want to work some of these axle bar deads, mainly just because I love the grip training, and then I love the secondary training, some moderately heavy deadlifts, because they're still challenging. Because I've already done other posterior chain work, like the good mornings, doing these with 400 is actually still some minor stimulus for that, right? But I went ahead and did 400 on the axle bar for 4 triples. All right, so again, we get some really good grip work. We also get used to following through there, right? What are we talking about? Getting the hips up to the bar? Getting the hips to the bar when grip is a little bit of a fight there. All right, this is valuable carryover for that also. Valuable carryover. And something I may want to do this coming week, I might want to work deficits instead of normal conventional deadlifts. And now for people who will say, okay, why would you do that? I don't understand. Because of the ability to follow through and maintain that rate of force production. Because I want people to notice that deadlift came off the floor fast. Okay? Deadlift came off the floor fast. It was the inability to sustain the rate of force production, right? We could not maintain that bar speed once we reached the knee and went to get into that transition. All right, deficit deadlifts help with that. And I've heard Tom Martin say that. I've argued that before, and people are like, no, deficits help you get faster off the floor. No, they don't. They help you get faster at the top. I've made this point before, and then I've seen Tom Martin chime in with the same thing before, who, again, all-time world record holder at one time in the 242 class. I've had private conversations with Tom in the past. Super good guy. I've known him from when I was in the UK. Good dude all the way around. We've had some chats about that years ago too, and he said the same thing. Deficit deadlifts allow you to follow through because they require you to sustain the force production longer. Okay, so if you're struggling with the lockouts on a deadlift, deficit deadlifts are absolutely a fix. If you're struggling off the floor, you need quads, right? Leg presses, squats, front squats, belt squats, right? Even leg extensions, right? You need quads. I explode off the floor. I'm squatting 500 plus again now. Hey, I've got quad strength. What we're missing there is the ability to follow through with hip extension. Okay, so the deficit deadlifts will help build muscle for one. Two, they'll help me follow through with that rate of force production. But then we also need these other movements, need the good mornings, and we need to get really, really strong at hip extension. Because again, notice I'm so fast off the floor. Like that is not the problem. It's not quads, it's not adductors, it's none of that. Not even my hamstring, because I've sustained good strength there too. It's being able to drive the glutes through. Okay? Being able to follow through with the hip extension, using the glutes to drive forward. Was not able to sustain that force production and follow through with them. Okay? So we need to hammer the glutes. So that means really I do need to be doing these slightly heavier. The really light reverse hypers are nice for recovery. I do need to get a little more weight on the bar like I'm doing here. So I pushed these hard. So that's a 25. These were brutal. I couldn't even almost get the 25. I think the last set I got to like 22 and was just done. So again, taking these up like I did for the leg extensions for 12s or so. Let's do them at 265 and try to be as strict as possible. Now, people need to understand strict on a reverse hyper doesn't always look super strict. This is crazy strict. Anyone who's done one knows what I'm talking about because you're on roller bearings, greased roller bearings. So you're just trying to control that forward swing if we're going to get strict. But here's the idea. We need to have the glutes follow through. So notice what then happens. Look at where we're missing that deadlift. Okay, this will carry through. The good mornings will carry through. Got to have that ability to follow through because I explode off the floor. The quads are good. This is purely a glute drive and a hip extension problem. Now, that's going to start displaying real fast on those squats. Now that I'm at 500 again, I'm about to see it start interfering with my squats. So the same weak link in my deadlift needs to be addressed there. Absolutely needs to be addressed. We still need to keep building quads for the squat. But I don't want to get in the situation to where I start missing squats because I lose that position and cannot follow through with the hip extension midway up. Okay, because that's what's going to happen. I'm going to get squats about 10 inches above parallel, 8 inches above parallel. They're going to stick because we can't follow through. So that's going to be the solution. So we fix it. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.